In life, it's important to have a goal. Cool. In life, it's important to have a goal. Hello, people. We are back. It's only been like a week since my last upload. We are feeling good. I hope y'all have had a good week as well. Today, I'm not going to really waste your time too much with any silly shenanigans or bits. I just want to jump into, spoiler alert, one of my favorite normal sets of 2009. It's going to be a great video. Today, we are doing Vastus. So, Vastus is the second jungly green set of 2009, with Gresh being the first one that we already looked at. And although Gresh is a pretty iconic character, I like Vastus more out of our kind of green forest dudes. Let me just let my cat out. Go. I forget what I said. I really like Vastus. He's one of my favorite sets, and I think he's definitely the better jungly set of 2009. Keep in mind, 2009 was the desert world of Bear Magna. So the fact that there was the Jungle Clan in of itself made them kind of cool and unique. Same with the ice guys, I would say, because you know they kind of feel like they have a smaller portion of the area, and they kind of feel a bit more unique and special. I feel like the fire, the earth, like those kind of elements felt a bit more at home in 2009, but the green, naturey vibe was just inherently more special because of the location, so I think that I have a particular soft spot for these sets. Also, before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that I did have some complaints about the like audio mixing, like sound effects kind of being too loud compared to my voice being just like Stronius. Vastus has one of my favorite foot pieces, this kind of webbed foot. There's not much to say about it because I already talked about it in 2x speed in my last video, but I like this foot. Unlike Stronius, Vastus's general vibe is that he's kind of like tall and lanky and more agile. So we're seeing this limb piece, which is an older one, I think from 2004, 5, kind of like the Toa Metru, Toa Hordica, I think. It's not frequently seen in the 2008 and 2009 sets, and we're getting them in a nice dark green as well. I just think green is such an elite Bionicle color in general, so pretty unique shins, to be honest, because a lot of the times, most medium-sized sets, there's like 2 or 3 limb pieces to go through. This is definitely more of a unique one, and I quite like it. And then we have this very classic limb armor that we're going to see a bunch, and I'm very confident we've seen it already on a lot of the Glatorians, but it's a very solid option for normal limb armor. Now, what's interesting is that it's used a third time on the chest. So a lot of the times the chest piece of these size sets is usually facing this way. And if you can see, it's like things are a bit more, not doing a very good job showing it, but things are a bit more like indented on this side. Like you can see things go farther back. So usually you put like a chest piece in front of it. And then this side would be the back. But they kind of just gave him the reverse of that. And on top of that, there's just an extra limb piece on the chest. So overall, it actually kind of makes him be a slightly bulkier vibe overall, because there's not like a giant chest armor, but between the backwards facing chest piece and an extra little limb armor, it kind of does like a medium solid job of buffing his chest up. I feel like I'm going to watch that back, and that was like the most dog shit sentence I've ever tried to articulate, but I'm too lazy to re-record it. You guys get the vision. Going on to the head, he has a really, really sick helmet. It is a kind of like a snake motif. I find that this guy's very snaky, very like vine-like. So I mean, these aren't technically snake heads, but it is like three very sharp, angry-looking vines, and I don't know, like there's something Medusa-like. There is something snaky going on. What's cool is that he has a green light head underneath this. I find a lot of the times with Bionicles, like the eye color will be the inverse of the main color set to kind of contrast it, but this guy is just like full green, which now is as good as time as any to mention that. The color of this set in general is just phenomenal. Another common thing is that most of the time, like the kind of secondary color, like the color that the socket limb pieces would be, for example, is almost always like a black or a gray, especially with newer sets. Like the original 2001 sets all had very bright, prominent colors, for example, but people always complained about like later stage Bionicles having like really dark muted colors and just tons of gray and stuff like that. So the fact that Vastus is just bright green and dark green, just two elite colors all over, like just getting a full zoom out shot, dude, he's so beautiful. He's gorgeous. I love the color scheme so much. But anyways, so yeah, nice skinny legs, somewhat interesting, unique chest piece, and a very cool snaky helmet. But we're not done yet, because his arms, and especially his weapon here, are freaking awesome. So let's get into some detail on that. To start us off, I don't think we've seen this yet, but in 2009, there was a limb piece where instead of having the 3 holes be on the front where armor would always attach, they did a variation where there was 2 circular pinholes there and there, and a cross hole there, but most noticeably, these 3 holes are on the other side, like the side of the piece, not the front there. So this was super like game changing for like mocks and whatever, and it was just really interesting because every normal size limb piece was like the legs. So this was a very, very cool new thing. I'm 99% sure it was only introduced in 2009, so like the last main year of Bionicle. But anyways, it allowed for crazy pieces like this, for example. This beautiful, and here's where the snake motif actually happens, if it will focus. You have these very cool 2 snake heads, spiky, scaly, like slithery vibes going on. They're like crossing each other, and then some more of the vine nature pieces that are pretty similar to the helmet. But anyways, like this is just such a sick piece of armor, and it can, you know, attach sideways on that arm piece there, like that. So this is kind of a weird example because the shoulder piece they used itself is also new and unique, so it's not like this new limb piece allowed for like a new clever idea of an existing piece of armor. They just put a giant new awesome piece of armor sideways onto it. But yeah, big fan of the shoulders, the new limb pieces, and these really crazy shoulder pads. You'll also notice that for some reason they added these tiny little tooth pieces in like the pearl light gray onto the shoulder pieces. This is kind of like an interesting choice. I don't hate it. It stands out a little bit, but it does kind of help the life counter and like the thorn axe launcher blend in, I guess. So it kind of is like maybe meant to be thorns or just something like that. So I don't dislike it, but I was almost surprised to see this in the build. I think Terex had like the bigger ones, so this is kind of like that, but on a smaller scale. Anyways, definitely more neon green on the arm side than on the leg and chest, because between the shoulders, his forearms, and the fists are all that nice light green, which in the overall model still is a good balance in my opinion. So anyways, those hands, what we're getting at now that we're done the arms, last part is the weapon. So this is like the crown jewel on top of Vastus just being a pretty elite figure, is that his weapon just smokes, I think, probably any other medium-sized set in 2009. We've seen some clever combiners, like Terex again, I think, had his Thornax launcher on like one of his water blades, and I kind of prefer something unique like that. Or like the Scrawl as well had his Thornax launcher on like his black sword. But I think Vastus's combo weapon does really take the cake here. So on one end is the Thornax launcher, and it's cleverly attached between just two random Technic pieces that are the same height as a fist when combined, essentially like too high. So the Thornax launcher still perfectly fits on that so that you can launch it and use it properly. And then you kind of have like a staff thing going on in between with a normal black axle. And the most cool looking and the coolest kind of tube piece ever, which I'm really going to make a point of showing off because I don't think we've seen anything like this in a long, long time. It's kind of like the normal clear whitish tube, which is common for a lot of Bionicle sets. If it will focus. Come on. There we go. But like inside of that, there's like a secondary green color. So you kind of get this like dual color tube. Y'all, like, I know I'm nerding out about this, but it's worth it. Like, this is such a cool fucking piece, and it's just so subtle, but it adds so much to his staff to kind of have it snake around. It's lovely. And then the other end, it connects into a blade piece. I forget if this is used somewhere else. I don't know if this is unique to Vastus, like the shoulder and helmet pieces are, but it might be. And even if it's not, this is definitely a new color variation to have the dual blend mold of dark green and a silver, which again fits so well with like the clearish silverish green tube and, you know, the silver Thornax launcher. Like, not only is the build clever, I think the color usage of having like, you can really kind of compartmentalize it in like these three parts, and there's enough like green and silver in all of them to just go well together. And the weapon itself is obviously so much sicker than having like just a plain Thornax launcher in one hand and a plain melee weapon in the other hand. Just not enough good things to say about this weapon. I think it's so sick, and it really allows for like some cool poses. You've noticed he's kind of holding it like one fist in each rotation, right? So it really looks like he's like this fucking martial arts master or something. So hard, dude. So hard. What did we miss? The back of the model. Like I mentioned, the only special thing they did here was flip the chest plate. So technically the back is in the front, which means the back is kind of like extra underwhelming, I guess. And it's funny because normally they'd attach the life counter to the front side, which is normally the back, but because they did it this way, they kind of had to add these random black pieces which have like an empty hole to put something in, and they kind of added that in there just so that the life counter can fit properly on there. Otherwise the recess on the back of this chest piece would have been too deep. So kind of an odd solution. I feel like they could have used a piece that didn't come down like that, or if it did, have something come out of that, because it's a little weird. He almost has like a tiny mini black jetpack or something. And to be honest, it really would have been great if the life counter piece itself could have been like a dark green or something to help it blend in. So the back of the model is kind of the weakest part, I guess, because there's really nothing special. But the silver life counter piece doesn't really matter because, like I said, there is enough silver sprinkled in throughout the set that it's not completely out of place, even though all the different shades of green are by far the prominent color factor. So anyways, hope that all makes sense, and I hope you share my excitement on Vastus just being a visually and just build, like Technic wise, an awesome, beautiful set. Very, very, very happy with him overall. Oh shit. I just had tonkatsu ramen and a bowl of chicken karaage. People are always like, Japanese food makes me feel light and healthy. Bro, what am I missing? I might just be feeling extra generous and kind today, but Vastus is like sick. He's really, really cool. As we mentioned, his color scheme is just one of the best. Like, lime green into forest green with absolutely minimal black or gray in between pieces. Man, it's so nice. And his weapon is one of the cooler combo type weapons out of any medium-sized set that we're going to see in a minute, I think. Helmet and shoulder pieces, kind of like Stronius. There's a lot of unique molds going on for this guy. Dude, he's so cool. Like, man, he's such a good set. For these reasons, I think we're going to give him a 9-1. Which might be the highest score yet on the channel. I'm not sure about that, but I feel like the stars obviously were pretty dog shit, and although 2009 has been much better, I don't know if we've officially broken 9. I don't know why I'm standing on this point for so long, in case we have, and I'm just going to be very uneducated, but this feels like it should be a very good score, and I think it's what. This is a very good score, and I think it's well deserved. Thumbnail.